Hello, and welcome to another episode of The End of the Search. This one I call it, Attention is Life, but not Truth. What do I mean by that? Whatever we give our attention to, it becomes real to us. And that's why I mean by life. Not life in a real sense of what life is. It's just the word that came through. Whatever you put your attention on is what you believe in. That is what gives it life. But it's not true. You give your attention to certain thoughts, and then you react to those thoughts as if they were true. But in reality, they were not. They are not. No thought is true. Life, the essence of what is the underlying, the background in which everything seems to appear, that is where these videos are pointing to. But the attention fragments, you see, it takes the wholeness and divides it, you see, the attention to specifics. But what if you simply open, wide open? In that openness, where there's no attention to anything specific, there's no life being given to any of that, you see? And therefore it can be seen as such. Now, the practicality of this is that from the moment you wake up in the morning, notice how life happens. And observe how when you give your attention to something specific, an idea of an attachment or an expectation or whatever, that it gives life, it brings life to that, it gives seeming reality to that idea, and then you find yourself reacting to the idea. But when there's a recognition that I am, which is not a personal recognition, it's just a way of, what can I tell you? These are the words we have to use within this seeming context. When there's a recognition that I am, life is just, it's unfolding very organically. And you will find yourself doing whatever it is that life through you is meant to do. The same way that it has been your whole life, but before, when we are taught that we are in charge, and when we try to take credit for the thoughts that appear and for the actions, we think that life is something that we are making happen, but in reality, life is happening whether you like it or not. It's unfolding exactly as it will, in spite of whether you think that you did something about it or not. So, when there's a recognition that I am, I don't take credit for anything that happens. I just see how life happens. And consequently, you can experience a sense of peace, tranquility, because you see how the journey is unfolding. The only thing we have to look is for these thoughts that are trying to somehow believe that life should go in a particular way. You see? Because if life goes in that particular way, we think we are happy. But when life doesn't go in that particular way, then we experience the consequence of that belief. Now, I'm not asking you to believe anything I say because it would not be fair, would not be what these videos are about. But I'm pointing to a possibility that you can put to the test, and that is how you know whether what is said here has validity or not. I already addressed that in a video called Do We Have Free Will? The link is on the description. However, because this message is the same, let's just address it a little bit here. Right now, can you tell me what is the next thought you're going to have? See, you don't know. Can you tell me what is the next sensation you're going to have? No clue. Can you tell me what is the next thing is going to happen? And the truth is we don't know. We may think that, okay, the next thing is going to happen is blah, 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 but that's just a speculation, but everything completely shifts and changes. Before you even know it, you find yourself doing something else and you're like, oh my God, I thought I was going to do blah, blah, blah. But let's go to the simple. Can you tell me what is the next thought you're going to have? If you don't know what is the next thought you're going to have, how do you know what is the next action you're going to take? because you're not going to take an action without the previous thought. First, the thought or the idea has to come up first. Sometimes can be a feeling, a sensation. You don't know if you're going to go to the bathroom until the feeling or sensation comes first. That's when you know you have to go to the bathroom. You see? You don't know if you're going to eat or not until the sensation of hunger appears first. That's when you eat. Unless there's a psychological issue and somebody's trying to use food to cover up something. But again, we don't need to go into that, because even that would be happening, expressing through that instrument that way. But we don't have to just go into those hypothetical situations. We can go to the present moment right now. Can you tell me what is the next thought you're going to have? Well, if you don't know what is the next thought you're going to have, then you don't even know what is the next move you're going to make. And if you don't know what is the next move you're going to make, how can you say that you're in charge of your life? You see? What happens is the mind immediately jumps into the play, into the game, and takes ownership. I thought of that. That was my idea. I thought of that song. No, you didn't think of anything. The thought was placed first. You happen to be the instrument through which consciousness expresses in that moment. Now, all of that is just part of the play. And that's fine. I don't have an issue with the play being as it is. But notice how certain thoughts, there's a tendency to put the attention on it. And that's why these thoughts become sometimes an obsession. That's what becomes real to us. And this is why attention gives life to the thought. You see? But it's not the truth. The truth is that the thought is a passing cloud. If it's seen as such, not a problem. Because thoughts will continue to pass on, but there's certain ones that we seem to hang on to. Well, there's conditioning that suggests that these thoughts are important to us. Why? Because the thought I, individual, has not been questioned. As long as I believe I'm an individual, then the conditioning that has to do with that individual will kick in. But what if I just simply am? That's where these videos are pointing to the obviousness. Right now, you cannot negate the fact that you are. Yes, attention seems to be going all over the place, but it's not even your attention anyway. That's why these videos are paradoxical. Attention seems to happen, and it seems as though we can give attention to certain things. Well, with these videos, act as if you can have the choice not to give the attention. Even if you don't have that choice. That's a paradox. We have to learn to deal with that. Am I the one choosing to wake up this morning? No, life chose to wake me up. If life doesn't want me to wake up, I wouldn't wake up. In the same way that life is choosing whatever is happening through this instrument. That's okay, I'm fine with that. Because as I know that life is all that there is, I can rest in that peace. I can rest in the trust that life is taking care of everything. And if a thought, a horrible thought may come up, well, nothing is horrible or not horrible, but just for the sake of this languaging. If a thought that mind will consider horrible will come up about what cannot happen to me, what should happen, what could I do, when this is seen, then you realize that that's just a thought. Because the truth of the matter is that right now, all that there is me speaking to a camera, and in your case will be you listening to a video. Isn't it? Isn't it all that there is? Seemingly within the world of illusion, of course. Well, the invitation here is to simply be. And yes, notice how the attention goes organically to you to watch this video. Seems like attention is being used here, but it's a relaxed attention. See the difference? It's not a focused attention. It's not forced. It's just simply a relaxed attention. And there are certain things that may require diligent attention. But you know what I found out in life is that happens organically. When I find myself passionately, I wouldn't even use that word, but I mean, if I find myself real focused on a song and I'm really in it, whatever, I don't have to force myself to focus. It just happens organically. You see? I don't have to force myself to put the attention into something because I want to make that happen. Back many years ago, when I was part of the self-help movement, I really thought that you have to really focus, and man, that was a lot of energy there. It was exhausting. So I was trying to focus. It's a goal. That's what I want. I have to focus. I have to focus. I was pushing everything aside and realizing that in the end, I couldn't continue with that focus because it was too exhausting for me. You see? And you may see about athletes that say they have this incredible focus. But you see, that's their calling. That's what the point. That's their passion. They didn't choose to become those athletes. That's just what they were called to do. Now, other athletes they say, for me to become as this one, I have to be as focused as that one is. I have to have this work ethics or whatever the case may be. But you will notice that if it's not in your cards, ain't gonna happen. For a while, we can fool ourselves thinking, okay, I gotta stay focused and I'm just gonna write it down to make sure that I do it. This is what this refers to as the New Year's resolution. It's the biggest joke. I believe that I've heard, there was a joke or something that I read about somebody, a gym that says, we have a special for New Year's resolution. It contains a selfie of you on the gym on the first day. That was the special, because most likely you're not going to show up the next day. So people have the New Year's resolutions because they're trying to make this a mind game, trying to control anything, and life is happening. And yet there's another way, much simpler. Right now, life is. But if I just surrender to life, I wouldn't have any focus. My life, I don't know where to go. The truth of the matter is we never know where to go. Some may think that they do because their calling is to go in a particular direction. Someone who's born to sing might say, I know where I'm going, I want this, whatever. But in reality, singing is something that he or she was going to do anyway. You see, it's the delusional idea that I know what I want and I'm going for that. No. It seems as if you know what you want, but in reality, that's what life expressed through you. Now, how about the ones who doesn't know exactly what they want? Well, in reality, or you could say that the ones who doesn't know what they want are being blessed with the opportunity to discover who they are. What happens is when someone is raised in an environment where everybody thinks in a particular way, and then you begin to think, or I begin to notice, God, there's something different about me. What's going on here? The first tendency is to think that I'm wrong, I'm crazy. But in reality, what if everyone is crazy? And I'm the one that is actually becoming sane. You see, not insane, sane, sanity. See? If you live in a small town that they have a particular mentality, of course, and then there's a part of you that is a calling to go out of that town, but somehow there's a fear of doing so because what if I'm wrong? What if everybody here in this small town is right? You see? Because there's a narrow-mindedness about it. And I'm not talking about small towns in general, like there's anything wrong. I'm talking about a specific, community, whatever the case may be. And people who are raised in those communities, they believe that that's the truth, that's what it is. But there's a whole world out there, But if the mind begins to taste a little bit of that world, it begins to question if the world that I grew up in is real true, is a reality. You see? Before the internet, might be easier to keep those communities. After the internet, where there's so much information and possibilities exposed, it's much more difficult to try to keep you trapped in that. Well, right here in these videos, you notice that there's a part of you that is calling you to know who you are. And that is the calling that we all have. Everybody does. What happens is, again, some may still have things that they need to do in the world thinking that this is what life is about, and they may live their whole life believing that, and that's fine. But in this case, you and I were not called to do that. Yes, you may have a lot of talents. I do have talents that life gave me too as a musician. I was a stand-up comedian for many years. I did acting and all that kind of stuff. But the passion, the drive to pursue that wasn't there. And it was very frustrating because I was wondering, what is my life about? This is what my life is about. My life is about remembering who I am. And those who resonate with that because they're ready to begin to question who they are, they'll be drawn to information, whether it's videos like this ones or any other information. It doesn't matter. I'm not trying to suggest that I am the source right now or I should be the one you should go to. No, you find yourself watching this video because that is what is happening in your script. You may watch another video or you may not, I don't know. But if you're watching this video, we're remembering together the nature of our being. And the nature of our being is freedom. The nature of our being is peace. The nature of our being is real joy, is real happiness. But the mind believes that joy, peace, and happiness comes as a consequence of, rather than being the source itself. When I have a lot of money, I'll be happy, I'll be free. When I have the relationship, I will feel love. When I become successful, I can feel proud of myself. You see, when I become such and such, then I will experience whatever it is that I think I'm going to experience. But all that belongs to the character, doesn't belong to truth. You see? So the attention goes to those things. To me, that's true. That's what is that's what I'm giving life. You see? But if I rest in what is, then I trust that if life wants me to become what people would label successful, so be it. It will make a dent, a difference in who I am. If life wants me to have whatever I'm supposed to have, that's fine. But the difference is that I am resting in what is because I'm not giving the attention to anything specifically, meaning I'm not giving life to anything that is false. I'm just simply observing how life is living me. And the truth is in which I rest, in which you rest, we all rest. But it's not conceptual. It simply is. And remember, as I always said, and I will say it over and over again, the paradox here is that even though I can share this information, you will not stop giving the attention because I suggest so. You stop giving the attention because life through you wants not to give the attention. And once again, life through you is leading you to listen to information that is going to free you from the prison of your thoughts. Or should I say the prison of believing your thoughts, of believing those beliefs. So now life is. You're free right now. I say this in every video and we'll put it to the test again. Whatever you may be going through, whatever, it does not matter. It doesn't matter what's going on in your life. I'm not discrediting. I'm not trying to pretend that it's not happening. I'm just simply pointing to a possibility if you're willing to explore it. Whatever is going on in your life right now, all I'm asking you is right now, don't believe any thoughts that are trying to describe or any suggestions that the thoughts are offering about your experience. Future, past, also are thoughts. Right now, if you don't identify with any of these thoughts, what is the direct experience? And don't answer me, because if you answer me, you go back into the mind. This is the trick. I'm simply pointing to what is the obviousness. Oh my God, this is it. But it was colored, put it this way. It was covered up by the veil of thoughts, of beliefs. Life should be like this shouldn't be like this, I should not be feeling this way, I should be feeling this way, I should have this, I should not have that. These are shoulds or shouldn't, these are thoughts. But what happens if right now you simply be, right now, just being, right now? See? That is what is always true, and it never changes. And interestingly enough, that is what is always overlooked by thought. Nothing wrong with thoughts. They can be very useful for, functioning here. But don't make anything special of them. Just remain as you are. Remaining as you are is what this is pointing to. When you remain as you are, where is the attention? There's no specific attention, just wide openness. And you see how life naturally draws the attention to the things that needs to be done. But you are. You rest as beingness. This is all these videos are about. Do you have an issue, a problem, that the mind, a thought labels it a problem? Okay, withdraw the attention. Interestingly enough, talking about attention, withdraw the attention from it. You see, don't give attention, withdraw attention and just be. Right now, just being. You see? And that's the invitation to live life from that open awareness. And see how life unfolds. And trust me, you will take care of your kids, and if you have kids. You will eat if you're hungry. You will know how to prepare food if you have to. So life happens. What life is going to do with this instrument, I have no idea. All I know is that life happens. And attention will be used very organically by life itself to whatever it needs to have the attention placed on. But there's no need for me to try to put the attention in something thinking that that is important or that something is going to give me anything. No, life is happening. I see how life is unfolding, and the invitation with these videos is to rest in that beingness so that you can experience the peace that passes all or surpasses all understanding, so you can experience the joy that is natural by simply being. Even if sometimes there's discomfort, even if there's thoughts growing all over the place, even if circumstances don't go the way the mind suggests they should go, you're still resting in that. And that's basically a life worth living. Otherwise, well, again, to some people, life worth living is pursuing things, and that is part of their journey, and it's not them who are choosing that. That's life expressing through them. The only thing is that we're not distracting ourselves with any of that. We're not comparing ourselves with anybody else. We're just simply resting in what we are and see how life unfolds for you. And that's how you live a happy life. Because you are life. So the happiness is the expression, the natural expression of yourself through each moment as it is. Doesn't mean you're laughing all the time, but the pursuit of pleasure and the avoidance of pain, although it's part of the human conditioning, is no longer a distraction. That's the difference. Then everything is new, everything is fresh. You're talking to the people that you thought you knew, and you realize, I don't know anything about them. All I know is that I'm going to meet them right now, just fresh as you have never met them before. And you open yourself to such an incredible array of possibilities. And again, because life is choosing that through you. But once again, I'm okay with the paradox. That's why I always like to quote Ramesh Balsekar when he says, act as if you have the freedom of choosing or free will of choice. Act as if you had that, while at the same time you know that you don't. Well, act as if you're the one who chose to listen to this video, and act as if you're the one who can really stop believing the content of the mind, even though that is already predestined for you anyway. So don't let the mind get into this and trying to make a big thing about this stuff. Just see how it seems as though you can have that choice. It seems as though I can have the choice to take the first meal on the menu and prepare it in the kitchen. Will that happen? I don't know. But once I'm eating it, then I know if it was supposed to happen or not. But for now, it seems as though that's what I'm going to do. That's fine. And life unfolds. It's a mystery. But when lived from this stand, it's wonderful. Because now, I don't know, let life surprise me. And then you're going to have a wonderful life. Why? Because the wonderful life that you think you're going to have in the future is what you're having right now by not identifying with the content of the mind. So this moment, which is all that there is eternal. It'll be the only moment that always will be, when there's no identification with the content of the mind, and therefore you can say you're living a wonderful life. But if you begin to believe that life should look in a particular way, then you're taking the present moment and overshadowing it with how life should be, meaning with a thought. You see? And when the mind is very conditioning with a lot of thoughts, I can see how difficult this could be. Everybody thinking that way, there's a lot of pressure. You should do this, you should do that, and look at everybody doing and thinking life is passing me by. No, life is not passing you by. Life is inviting you to relax. That's all. Because what is meant for you, it's already waiting for you. You don't have to go after it. Some people say, my ship will come in and I'll be in another port. No. Your ship will come in the port that you're supposed to be. You see, the problem is we see all these ships coming and going, and people hurry trying to get on those ships thinking that they're winning or they're going to get something. And then there are the ones who find themselves in another island stranded. What happened? Well, I don't know. I thought that ship was the answer, and turned out not to be. Meanwhile, you're sailing in your own ship, showing them that their ship is waiting for them, because now you have the direct experience. And who knows? Maybe you are the ship that was supposed to pick them up, and that's why they have to go through all the struggle. The beauty is that you didn't get caught in that struggle and you trusted. So what is meant for you, it's waiting for you. The problem is that you're looking the other way. And you're not looking the other way because you chose that. It's because that is how life is happening for you. Because that's the play, that's all there is to it. But it's like when you're dreaming at night. The play can have all different shapes, forms, and experiences. But you're not the play, and you're not in the play. You are in which the play seems to happen. In the end, what this is pointing to is that you simply are. And you are in which all of this seeming world of appearances seem to appear. And this is not something that conceptually you will get, because the mind is the obstacle itself. The mind itself is a thought, but we can point to. And the closest to pointing to that which is what you are, but not in a shape, is when I ask you, don't believe the content of the mind. Don't believe anything you think. If you don't believe anything you think, what is left? That's the closest we can go on a conceptual level. And then the experience is obvious, and that's the answer itself. That is the answer. See, you are the answer. But the answer to what question? There was never a question. You see? This is the play on words here. In other words, you're not even the answer. You simply are. That's what is state I am. Love is. God is. And that's all there is. Well, this is inspiration that came through this instrument. I hope it served. And as always, may peace permeate the mind so that love can be extended.